So
న్యూ చాప్టర్ స్టార్ట్ చేసుకున్నాం సార్, కోరిలేషన్ అండ్ రిగ్రెషన్ అనాలిసిస్.
yeah. So okay, we are discussing about the correlation. Okay, correlation. సో దీన్ని మనం తెలుగులో సహసంబంధం అంటాం. ఓకే, కోరిలేషన్ అండ్ రెగ్రెషన్ రెండు ఉన్నాయి మనకి ఇక్కడ. కోరిలేషన్ అండ్ రెగ్రెషన్. ఓకే, ఫస్ట్ మనం కోరిలేషన్ గురించి మాట్లాడుతున్నాం. ఓకే, we are talking about the correlation, సహ సంబంధము. ఓకే, మీకు నేను ఇంతకుముందు ఆల్రెడీ చెప్పిన విధంగా రిలేషన్ గురించి మాట్లాడుతున్నామంటే మినిమం there are two persons. What is the relation between me and you? Teacher and student. Okay, here there are two persons. One is a teacher and one is student. The relation, when we are talking about the relationship between child and parent, means there are two characters, parent and child. Friends, you and your friend. ఓకే, కాబట్టి ఇక్కడ రిలేషన్ గురించి మాట్లాడుతున్నామంటే డెఫినెట్ అట్లీస్ట్ there are minimum two characters are there. Okay, minimum two characters are there. Okay, in economics point of view, we can't say that character, we can say that it is a variable. So that's why in economics point of view or statistics, okay, point of view, okay, economics or statistics point of view, we can say that instead of two characters, we can say that two variables. So that's why in economics or statistics, whenever we are talking about the correlation, there should be at least two variables. Okay, two variables. At least two variables. అంటే దాని అర్థం ఏంది? రెండు మినిమం ఉండాలి, రెండు కన్నా ఎక్కువ ఉండవచ్చు. ఈ పాయింట్ మీరు చాలా గమనించాలి. రెండు వేరియబుల్స్ ఉండాలి, రెండు కన్నా ఎక్కువైనా ఉండవచ్చు. సో కాబట్టి ద కోరిలేషన్ నథింగ్ బట్ ఇట్ will explain. Okay, it will explain the relation. Okay, the relation between two or more variables. Two or more variables. రెండు లేదా అంతకన్నా ఎక్కువ చలాంకాల మధ్య ఉన్నటువంటి సంబంధమును తెలియజేసే దానినే ఏమంటున్నాం ఇక్కడ సహసంబంధము అనేసి పేర్కొంటాము. ఓకే, సహసంబంధము అనేసి పేర్కొంటాము. Okay, it is going to explain the relationship between two or more than two variables అనేసి అంటున్నాం. ఓకే, అది మనము ఈ సందర్భంలో చెప్తున్నటువంటి పాయింట్. ఓకే, we will come కోరిలేషన్ తో పాటు రిగ్రెషన్ కూడా ఉన్నది. అబౌట్ ద రిగ్రెషన్ we will come later. ఓకే, ఫస్ట్ we are going to discuss about the correlation. అదనమాట. సో రెండు లేదా అంతకన్నా ఎక్కువ చలాంకముల మధ్య ఉన్న సంబంధమును తెలియజేసే దానినే సహసంబంధం అనేసి పేర్కొంటున్నాము, కోరిలేషన్ అనేసి పేర్కొంటున్నాము. ఓకే, whenever we are talking about this correlation, so at least two or more than two variables there should be. Two or more than two variables there should be to discuss this topic. Out of that, there should be, if there are two variables for the comparison, మనం ఏదైనా విశ్లేషణ చేయడానికి రెండు వేరియబుల్స్ గురించి మాట్లాడుతున్నాం అనుకోండి, టూ వేరియబుల్స్ గురించి మాట్లాడుతున్నాం అనుకోండి, వాటిలో ఒకటి ఖచ్చితంగా ఇండిపెండెంట్ వేరియబుల్ అయి ఉండాలి. Okay, there should be one independent variable. That means another should be dependent variable. Dependent variable. Dependent variables. So in between these two, if we are explaining the relation, that may be known as the correlation. So that's why, in another words, correlation means, okay, in another words, correlation means, okay, it will explain the relationship between independent variables. Okay, independent variables and dependent variables. Dependent variables. స్వతంత్ర చలాంకములకు ఆధారిత చలాంకములకు మధ్యగల సహసంబంధమును మధ్యగల సంబంధమును తెలియజేసే దానినే సహసంబంధము అని పేర్కొంటాము. సో కాబట్టి the correlation can be explained in different ways. Like one is the correlation nothing but it will explain the relations between two or more than two variables. So in other words, we can say that correlation means it will explain the relations between independent and dependent variables. We know that in economics, there are various type of the variables are there. In different chapters, different type of variables we can see. In the demand chapters, there are so many things, so many aspects, so many variables are there. Price is one variable. Income is one variable. Like that, there are many. In the production chapter, Output is one variable. Inputs like factors of production like land, labor, capital, organization, technology. All these are some type of the variables. In supply also there are some variables. In any aspect, you take example. In any aspect, take for example agriculture. In agriculture also there are many variables. Seed is a variable, fertilizer is a one variable. Okay, like land is a variable, labor is a variable, technology may be variable, output is a variable. Okay, so like in any aspect we can see the different type of variables. For example, okay, demand. Okay, take for a popular topic in economics, take example demand. So whenever we are talking about the demand, there are some important subject matters we are going to be discussed in case of the demand. What are the things are there in case of the demand? Okay, in case of the demand, so we can see that whatever the factors are determining the demand may be called the demand. Okay, demand is a variable. Price is a variable. Okay, income is a variable. Okay, substitution goods is a variable. Okay, complementary goods may be variable. Time is a variable. Area may be variable. Taste may be one of the variable. Preferences may be one of the variables. All are these variables. We know that. Okay, we can write that demand is a function of price, income, taste, preferences, related commodity price, etc. Related commodities may be called maybe substitution goods or complementary goods, we know. Like that, we are going to be discussing the different ways. So, you know this formula. Demand chapter make formula andar kuda manaku telisinatvantide. Okay, like demand is a function of price, income. Ante demand nu nirణయిస్తున్నటువంటి అంశాలు. Demand ఏ అంశాలపైన ఆధారపడి ఉంటుంది. Demand is going to be depending on the many factors like income, price of the commodity, income of the consumer, related commodities prices like complementary goods and substitution goods, consumer taste, preference, time, etc. Okay, these are variables and this is also variables. Now you tell me, out of this one, which are the dependent variables and which are the independent variables? So there are many type of variables here. The variables can be divided into two categories: independent variables and dependent variables. Okay, if we explain the relation between independent variable and dependent variable, that is known as the correlation. Okay, variables are two types: dependent and independent variables. If we explain the relationship between dependent and independent variables, that is called correlation. Okay, according to our microeconomics or demand chapter, out of this one, which one dependent variable, which one is independent variable? Tell me. Okay, so here all these are called independent variables. Okay, independent variables. Whereas the demand is a dependent variable. Demand is a dependent variable. So that's why if we explain the relation, the F nothing but relation, functional relationship between this and this, functional relationship between independent variables and dependent variables. Okay, that is. So like that, it is the demand chapter. If you know the production chapter, Q is output. Q is a function of NLKO. Nothing but Q, nothing but output. Output, nothing but production. Production is the dependent on factors of production. You know, these are the factors of production, that is land, labor, capital, and organization. Okay, here, out of this one, Q is a dependent variable, whereas NLKO are the independent variables. If we explain the relations between this dependent variable and this independent variable, that may be known as the what is called correlation. Okay, saha sambandhamu anesi చెప్పడం జరుగుతున్నది. It is called correlation. Okay, ఈ విధంగా మనకు ఆధారిత చలాంకాలకు స్వతంత్ర చలాంకాలకు మధ్య గల సంబంధాన్ని తెలియజేసే దానిని సహసంబంధం అంటున్నారు. వాటి మధ్య ఎటువంటి సంబంధం ఉన్నది? What type of the relation is there between this independent variable and dependent variables? Based on the relations among these variables, this correlation may be divided into different categories. Then types of the correlation అనేసి మనం చదవాలి. సహసంబంధంలోని రకాలను గురించి మనం చదవాలి. క్లాసిఫికేషన్ ఆఫ్ ద కోరిలేషన్ లేదా టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ ది కోరిలేషన్ we can say. టైప్స్ లేదా క్లాసిఫికేషన్స్ ఆఫ్ ది కోరిలేషన్. సో కాబట్టి ఇక్కడ మనకు whenever we are talking about this particular aspect, okay, so the types of correlation. So దీని మనం ఏమంటున్నామంటే classification of correlation. Okay, classification of the correlation అనేసి మనం పేర్కొంటాం. సో మీరు డిమాండ్ చాప్టర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ తీసుకుంటే టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ ద కోరిలేషన్ ఈజీ. Different type of the correlations we can understand if you are clear cut idea about the demand chapter, particular the demand function. What is demand function? Demand function is nothing but the demand function is going to be explain the functional relationship between demand and determinant factors of the demand. Demand is a dependent variable, whereas the determinant factors of the demand is an independent variable. So, if we explain the relationship between dependent variable and independent variable, that is called correlation. So, called demand function. దాని కొంత మార్పు చేర్పు చేస్తే దాని కోరిలేషన్ గా మనం ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేసుకుంటున్నాం. అదనమాట. Okay, you know that. All you people know. What type of the relation is there between price and demand? In the demand chapter, you may know that in the microeconomics, in the demand chapter, all you people, you know that. What is the relationship between price and demand? So, inverse relationship. Yes, exactly. Inverse relationship, that is called negative relation. That is called opposite relation, exactly. Whatever you are saying, exactly correct. So that's why whenever you are talking about these types of the correlation or classification of the correlation, we can say that one of the category is negative correlation. You are saying that inverse relation. I am saying that negative. Inverse nothing but opposite. Opposite nothing but in negative. Okay, what is the, now you tell me what is the negative correlation? What is the inverse relation? Means, so in case of the negative correlation, if one variable is increasing and another variable is decreasing, If independent variable is increasing, dependent variable is decreasing. You know that price and demand, they have the negative or inverse relationship, you know. So that means if the price is increasing, you know that demand is decreasing. Okay, if the price is decreasing, if the demand is increasing, you know that. So that's why, yeah, price is an independent variable, whereas the demand is a dependent variable, you know. Price is an independent variable, the demand is a dependent variable. So that's why in case of the negative correlation, so yeah, there is a opposite relation between two variables or more than two variables. Whatever the variables are there for the discussion in the analysis, among the two variables, there is the opposite direction. The both variables are moving in the opposite way. That means if one is moving upwards and another is coming downwards. Okay, so if one variable is increasing and another variable is coming down. If independent variable is increasing, the dependent variable is coming down. If the independent variable is coming down, the dependent variable is moving up. Okay, moving up. So that is you can see. Okay, this type of the relationship you can see in case of the negative. So that is example is price and demand is one of the most example. Price and demand is one of the most example for the negative correlation. So if both variables are moving in the same direction, we can say that a positive correlation. Okay, positive correlation. Nothing but in case of the positive correlation, the both variables are moving in the same direction. If one variable is increasing and another variable is also increasing. If one variable is decreasing and another variable is also decreasing. Okay. So the example we can say, what may be example in the microeconomics for the positive correlation? Tell me. Price and supply, yes, exactly, yes. Price and supply, yes, exactly. Price and supply, because the both will move same direction. If the price increases, we know that supply also increases according to our theory. If the price decreases, supply also decreases according to our theory. Okay, we can see that the positive correlation or same, the relationship is there between these two. Okay, that is what we can say, the two categories, two classifications we can understand here. And another one is linear correlation. What is the meaning of the linear? Same response, equal ratio response. Okay, equal ratio response. If one variable is increasing with 10%, another variable is also changing with by 10%. Okay, if two variables are changing with the same proportionate, with same ratio, that is known as the linear correlation. Okay, linear correlation. Both independent variable and dependent variable, both are changing in the same. I'm not talking about the same direction. I'm talking about the same ratio, same proportionate. For example, if the price is increasing by 10%, the demand is decreasing by 10%. So it is increasing 10%, it is changing, it is decreasing 10%. Both are changing with the same ratio, that is called linear, but with opposite direction. That's why this linear correlation may be divided again two categories, that is linear negative correlation. So this is the linear, because same ratio it is changing, same proportion it is changing, but with opposite. So that's why opposite means negative. Like, suppose if the price is increasing by 20%, supply also increasing with 20%. If the price increases, supply will increase, we know. Price increases, supply is increasing. How much it is? It is increasing by 20%, supply also increasing by 20%. So, this is known as linear positive correlation. Okay, positive correlation. Linear means same ratio. If this is 20%, it is also 20%. Positive means same direction. So if it is increasing, it is also increasing, same direction. That's why it is called linear positive correlation. Okay, the both are linear. It may be opposite or in the same direction, but both are changing with the same direction, with the same way. Okay, that is known as the what is called linear correlation. Okay, if there are the fourth one is known as non-linear correlation. Non-linear means they are changing but not with equal ratio. Okay, they are changing but not with equal ratio. So here, if one variable is changing and another variable is also changing, but not to the same proportionate. So if two variables are not changing with equal ratio, that is called non-linear. That is unequal ratio. Not changing the equal ratio. Please remember, not changing the equal ratio. If both are changing the equal ratio or equal proportion, it is called linear. If they are not changing with equal ratio or equal proportion, it is called non-linear. Okay, non-linear. For example, the price is increased 10%, but the demand is decreased by 8% only. If the price increases, demand decreased, but both are not changed with the equal ratio, which is called non-linear. They are in the opposite direction. So that's why again it is called non-linear negative, no? Because they are in the opposite direction. Non-linear negative correlation, we can say. Suppose if the price increases by 20%, supply increased by 15%. According to the theory, if the price increases, supply also increases, no doubt. Dhara verigite supply kuda perigindi manaku rule prakaram. But dhara enta perigindi 20% perigindi. Supply 15% perigindi. Both are not equal ratio. Since both are not equal ratio, it is called non-linear. But both are changing with the same direction. It is increasing, it is also increasing. So that's why we can say that it is called non-linear positive, no? Positive correlation. So non-linear positive correlation. That is like that. Based on the response between two variables, we can divide the correlation into various categories. Okay, suppose something, the price was increased 10%, but demand is changed by 0%. Means, can we say that there is a relation between these two? No, no relation. When the price is increasing, demand not at all changing. Like perfect inelasticity of demand. So, in that particular cases, we can say that there is no relation. Okay, if there is no response from one variable with another variable, so we cannot say that there is a relation, which is called no correlation, zero correlation. Okay, like that, based on the response, we can divide this correlation into various categories. Partial correlation, complete correlation. Partial correlation means, see, for example, demand is a function of price, income, related commodity price, taste, preferences, etc. Okay, and the demand is depending on all these variables. But if we are explaining the relation between only demand is a function of price, this is called partial correlation. Partial means not complete. వీటికి దీనికి ఉన్నటువంటి కంప్లీట్ సంబంధం చెప్పడం లేదు మనం, వీటిలో కొన్నిటికి మాత్రమే చెప్తున్నాము. సో ఇఫ్ వి విల్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ ద రిలేషన్ బిట్వీన్ డిపెండెంట్ వేరియబుల్ అండ్ సమ్ పార్ట్స్ ఆఫ్ ద ఇండిపెండెంట్ వేరియబుల్స్, దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ పార్షియల్ కోరిలేషన్. పాక్షిక సహ సంబంధం అనేసి పేర్కొంటాము. సో ఇఫ్ వి విల్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ ద రిలేషన్ బిట్వీన్ డిపెండెంట్ వేరియబుల్ విత్ ఆల్ దీస్ ఇండిపెండెంట్ వేరియబుల్స్, whatever the independent variables are determining the demand, if we explain the relation with all these independent variables with this dependent variable, we can say that which is called complete correlation. Complete correlation. Okay, so see, for example, output. Agriculture output is increasing due to irrigation. నీటి పారుదల సౌకర్యాలు పెరగడం వలన వ్యవసాయ ఉత్పత్తి పెరుగుతున్నది. We know that నీటి పారుదల సౌకర్యం పెరిగితే అవుట్పుట్ పెరుగుతుంది, మనకు అందరికీ తెలిసినటువంటి విషయమేది. If the irrigation facilities increases, the output will increase. So can we say that it is a partial correlation or complete correlation? Please tell me. Is it partial correlation or complete correlation? There is a correlation between these two. Output is a dependent variable. Irrigation is an independent variable. We know, not doubt at all. It is an independent variable. Okay, it is a dependent variable. If the independent variable increases, that is irrigation facilities increases, no doubt dependent variable increase, that is output will increase, no doubt at all. But it is the partial correlation or complete correlation? Partial, yes, exactly. Because agriculture output not only depends on the irrigation, it is also depends on the various factors, like irrigation is one of the factor. Along with irrigation, using seed, utilizing the fertilizer, land fertility, all these are going to be determining the output. కాబట్టి వాటన్నిటి గురించి చెప్తే కంప్లీట్ కోరిలేషన్, వాటి ఒకటి గురించి మాత్రమే, రెండిటి గురించి మాత్రమే చెప్తే పార్షియల్ కోరిలేషన్ అంట. పార్షియల్ మీన్స్ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద కంప్లీట్, part of the total. So like that, partial correlation, complete correlation, no correlation, linear correlation, non-linear correlation, like what is called positive correlation, okay, negative correlation, like in the different types of the classification we can see, okay, in this particular category. Okay, this is about the correlation. Okay, manaku